Hey everybody, Tactic Angel here, back on the PlayStation 4, talking about some World of Warships Legends. Today we have several things to try to run down. That includes my thoughts on the Wicked Waves campaign, the update stream starring the Sailing Robin and Filigula, and of course, what my plans are for the coming week. First, we're going to talk about those things in exactly the opposite order I just announced them in. Why? Because I want to, and because what I'm going to be doing is pretty easy to summarize in just a few sentences. First, obviously, I have the Nassau in my port, and here you see me playing it without the Halloween skin. The Nassau is, of course, the Tier 3 German battleship that you can earn for free as part of the Wicked Waves event. Wargaming was nice enough to lend it to me for the purposes of reviewing it, and I'm going to be putting up my thoughts for this ship on Saturday, probably around noon Eastern US time. And the reason why I'm doing that on Saturday rather than on Friday is because on Friday you can look forward to my T-61 review, the Tier 5 German premium destroyer that is currently on sale in the store today. You can look forward to that on Friday around midday US Central Time. Next, we're going to be talking about the World of Warships Legends live stream with Filigula and the Sailing Robin. I keep asking the same question about crossplay, which Phil and Robin didn't answer. That makes me very sad Tactic Angel. But we did get some good news out of this stream because Wargaming will be implementing a historic-only option in the settings if you want to turn off weird-looking ships. From what Phil was saying, the ships will appear as though they are uncamouflaged. Like I said, I actually do like the steampunk camo patterns on these ships, but actually in playing the Nassau a few times, I found it kind of stood out a little too much, so I will be looking forward to this as a way of turning that off, even though I like it. As for commanders, which I'm not at all enthusiastic about, they will remain an off-brand comic book character sort of thing. If you've watched the World of Warships preview for the upcoming Halloween event, you'll probably notice that there are, in fact, 3 commanders. So we have Henry J. Hyde, Abraham V. Helsinger, and Victor F. Einstein. Of these, you can earn 1 from the campaign, that is, of course, Henry J. Hyde. The other 2 you will apparently be able to buy in the store starting pretty soon. So that is maybe okay and maybe pretty annoying. I've said this before when it was Jerzy Sversky. I don't really like the idea of locking useful skills behind mandatory paywalls. I understand that the loot box system that we have right now is kind of that thing, plus randomness, but he was a genuine patriot and war hero. I like the idea even less when it's some off-brand fictional character. In any case, my hope is that these characters would or could at some point in the future be displayed as historical figures, you know, patriots, brave and cunning men, but that is not going to be happening for the foreseeable future. In any case, it does worry me a little bit because I know the number of kind of wonky characters that they've added to the PC game, and I'm really not looking forward to that. I feel like it's going to water down the theme of the game. In any case, if you've logged in the past couple of days, you've probably noticed you can't play the Halloween event. This was to my surprise as well. That is because the update that is coming on the 21st will actually take us into the next version, and that's when the Halloween event is going to occur. It's going to start on October 26th. It will last for 2 weeks and then a couple of days until the end of that weekend. So I was a little disappointed not being able to play it today, but if you're like me, like literally me, then at least this makes you happy that you don't have to make 4 videos this week rather than your usual 2 or 3. In other news, some of you may want to buy the Marblehead or the Gremyashi. Phil confirmed that at some point in the future you will be able to buy these. They just will not have the Founders Edition skins. For the other 2 ships, they were, of course, the Iwaki and Arkansas, which I am told are already available on the PlayStation Store and its Xbox equivalent. Finally, you may have noticed some extra camo options in port. I guess these are for mostly German ships. Here I'm going to go ahead and show you the Gneisenau. That is because these are options that you will be able to acquire somehow in the future. Best bet is it involves some combination of money, time, or chance, but apparently there will be several ships in the game which these sort of options will be coming for, and of course, we don't have any details at this point about how to get them. As for the campaign itself, the Wicked Waves event is actually only a 2-week campaign. Looks like there's going to be a total of 1,225 renown available for the campaign, and it requires 1,125 in order to complete. This offers you a little less in terms of a buffer than in the French connection, but let's really dive into how completable this is for the average person. There, again, are 2 types of missions that grant renown. They are the weekly haunts, which are obviously weekly tasks, and then there are haunted happenings, which run the length of the campaign, kind of like battle triumphs. First, for the weekly haunts, all of these are in pretty much a single file line. First, you'll have to complete all of the terrifying tasks, then go on to the ghastly goals. I'm going to give some points to whoever translated this for the alliteration. So there are 4 weekly haunt objectives, and basically what these require you to do is just play the game a lot. And they go in order of win a game, earn 5,000 experience before bonuses, earn 750,000 credits, and then earn 1,250 global XP. With the exception of the first mission here, you can actually fail your way through this without ever having to win a game. It'll just take you a little bit longer to do that. After that, you'll actually have ghastly goals to contend with. Compared with previous campaigns, I actually don't think that these are all that bad. First, because 500,000 damage in battleships, that's in any battleship over any number of games, and that's not that bad. The dreaded capture or assist in capture ribbons is back. This time it's any destroyer from tier 3 through 7. This is an improvement over previous versions of this because at least you can use any nation you want to play with. And while you can definitely capture bases in cruisers and battleships, it's really less likely to happen than if you're playing a destroyer. So this is really going to be mostly an annoyance if you just keep getting in capture the base rather than domination games. That said, it should be a little less of a pain than normal. In terms of a tip for completing this, I'd say that realizing that you don't have to shoot your guns just because someone is in range is your first step towards success here. After that, we're on to cruisers. You're going to need to set 20 fires. And cruisers are really the ideal place to do this sort of thing. Obviously, there are some favorites like the Atlanta or the De Grasse on the premium side, but the Omaha, Königsberg, and literally any Japanese cruiser from the Aoba on upwards is a pretty great ship to get through this, and pretty quickly. Step 4, hit an enemy ship 150 times with your main battery. This looks like it's going to be a bit of a time sink because it has to be done with battleships, but I'll give you a hint. Do not use German battleships for this. In terms of accuracy, obviously the Iowa is very accurate, so you should be able to score those hits pretty consistently. The New Mexico or Arizona has a lot of guns, and both are reasonably accurate, and the Queen Elizabeth and Warspite are both pretty accurate with good rates of fire. Goal number 6 is destroy 10 ships with destroyers. Use what you're good at. And then finally, join the top 3 on your team in experience received. Again, this is really just going to be a ship that you're good at. If you're asking me in terms of which cruisers are most ridiculous in terms of experience potential, those are the obvious choices like the Omaha or Marblehead, De Grasse, and Königsberg. Overall, I'd say this is a pretty heavy time commitment, but for the campaign, I'd definitely say it's more achievable than the last 2 sets of weekly campaign tasks. As for the campaign long tasks, they are actually even better, probably. For one, there are 4 missions, and they can be accomplished simultaneously. Each of them involve you placing in the top of your team based on experience, and the different missions require you to top in either the top 1, 2, 3, or 4 players. I think this is probably a little bit more accomplishable for most people, since if you were playing at something like a tier 4 ship, and then you placed second on your team, you'd actually earn 1 victory towards 3 of these missions. If you were the top player, you'd earn a point towards all 4. And it doesn't really matter if you win or lose, at least for the mission's sake. Obviously, if you're a consistently quality player, this is going to be a little bit easier for you than if you struggle. But we've all been on a team that has literally just completely face planted, and we managed to get first place because we are the least terrible, at least in that game. And those count here. So like I said, you need to earn 1,125 renown for this campaign. The big reward is a tier 3 premium battleship, which you've seen me playing in the background. You do have a 100 renown buffer in this campaign, but that functionally means you only can miss one mission in either of the weekly haunts. Otherwise, you have to get all the points, simply because if you fail more than one mission, that's going to be more than 100 points. You are going to have to be able to place as the top player on your team at least 15 times over the course of 2 weeks. Also, because failing that mission is 125 points by itself. As a special note, Admiralty backing for this campaign is 1,250, which is half of its normal price. But as a special reminder, you can't actually boost your progress unless you have Admiralty backing. So if you're going to miss the Nassau by 25 or 50 renown, you're going to have to first pony up 1,250 doubloons to get Admiralty backing before you can boost your way to the Nassau. So anyway, these are things to consider when deciding whether or not you want to purchase that Admiralty backing. And as always, remember that you don't have to decide today. You do have until the end of the campaign. All the benefits for the campaign should apply retroactively if you decide to purchase Admiralty backing after completing all of the objectives. Anyway, hopefully this video has been helpful for you. Thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.